The ancient Egyptians were some of the most ingenious and skilled engineers in history. They were able to construct some of the world's most impressive pyramids, some of which still stand today, using only basic tools and techniques. The Egyptians were able to build these pyramids using a process called masonry. Masonry is the process of building a structure by combining different types of stone together to form a solid structure. The Egyptians were also able to build pyramids using a process called stone cutting. Stone cutting is the process of shaping stones by using a sharp object to cut them into desired shapes. Both of these processes, masonry and stone cutting, were used to construct the pyramids of ancient Egypt. The Egyptians were able to create incredibly detailed and solid pyramids using these simple techniques. Pyramids are one of the most iconic structures in the world and are still standing thousands of years after they were built. How were they built? The first step in pyramid construction was to find a suitable location. The next step was to build the base of the pyramid. The base was made of limestone and was around 30 feet wide, 60 feet long, and 20 feet high. The height of the pyramid was based on the size of the pyramid and the resources available. The larger the pyramid, the taller the pyramid's base had to be. The next step was to build the core of the pyramid. The core was made of limestone and was around 20 feet wide, 30 feet long, and 10 feet high. The walls were then covered in a layer of plaster. The plaster was made from mud, straw, and lime. The mud was mixed with water and then poured into the wall. The straw was added to the mixture, and it helped to make the plaster harder. The lime was added to the mixture, and it helped to make the plaster white. The pyramid was finally finished and was ready to be used. What do you think about this topic so far? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Pyramids were one of the most amazing feats of engineering ever created. They are still standing today, more than 4,500 years after they were built, thanks to the skills of the pyramid builders. But who were the pyramid builders? The ancient Egyptians were some of the most skilled builders in the world, and their pyramids are a testament to that. But how were they able to build such magnificent structures using only slave labor? To build a pyramid, the ancient Egyptians would first construct a large platform out of limestone or other suitable stone. The size and shape of the platform would depend on the size and type of pyramid the Egyptians were trying to build. Next, they would build a series of substructures or support beams on top of the platform. These substructures would hold up the outer walls of the pyramid and provide structural support. The next step was to build the actual pyramid. This was a very labor-intensive process, and it required the use of a large number of slaves. The slaves would use their hands and feet to move heavy stones and blocks of stone. The ancient Egyptians were some of the most skilled builders in the world, and their pyramids are a testament to that. But how were they able to build such magnificent structures using only slave labor? The answer lies in the substructures that were built on top of the platform. The substructures were designed to be sturdy and able to support a large amount of weight. This allowed the slaves to build the pyramid without any difficulty. The sun played a large role in the construction of pyramids. The Egyptians believed that the sun was the creator of the world and the architect of the universe. They thought that the sun was a god and that it created everything. They also believed that the sun was a powerful source of energy and that it was necessary for the life and well-being of humans. The Egyptians built pyramids in order to store the bodies of the pharaohs and their families. The bodies of the pharaohs were buried in the pyramids in order to protect them from the evil spirits. The pyramids were also used to store the pharaoh's treasures. The ancient Egyptians built some of the most impressive pyramids the world has ever seen. How were they able to do it? By using the power of manpower. The ancient Egyptians were able to build pyramids because they had a large workforce. They didn't have any machines or tools. They only used manpower to build the pyramids. The workers would start by digging a hole, and then they would build the pyramid by stacking up layers of sandstone. The use of ramps to transport blocks of stone is one of the many fascinating techniques used to build pyramids. Ramps were often built of stone and clay, and were used to move the heavy blocks of stone up the pyramid's sloping sides. The ramps would also have grooves in them to help guide the blocks as they ascended. The ancient Egyptians were masters of construction. Even their smallest tombs were some of the largest and most sophisticated ever built, and the Egyptians were not alone in this. One of the methods used by the Egyptians to build these tombs was to build them on top of hills. The Egyptians would start by digging down into the ground until they hit a layer of soft sand. From there, they would start building their tomb by first constructing a series of large walls made of limestone. These walls would be around 12 feet high and 30 feet wide. The Egyptians would then add a layer of sand to the inside of the walls. This would help to protect the walls from moisture and decay. After the sand was added, the Egyptians would build a series of tombs inside the walls. Each tomb would be different and would be decorated with beautiful paintings and sculptures. The Egyptians were also very ingenious when it came to construction. For example, they used an incredible system called the sarcophagus. This system allowed them to build large tombs without having to lift the heavy stones. The sarcophagus consisted of a series of steps that led down into the tomb. At the bottom of the steps, there was a large stone box that the Egyptians could use to carry the stones. Besides this technique, they were also very precise when it came to construction. For example, they never built a tomb that was more than 1/10 of a millimeter off the correct alignment. This attention to detail was essential in order to ensure that the tombs remained intact for thousands of years. Isn't this discovery a fascinating one? What do you think about it? In case you are new to the channel, then kindly press the bell icon below and share this video with your loved ones. Coming back to the main topic. The Great Pyramids of Giza were built over 4,500 years ago and used a lot of iron. Iron was not available to the ancient Egyptians in the form of a metal ore, so they had to get it from somewhere else. The process of extracting iron from ore is called smelting. The ancient Egyptians used a process called bloomery smelting. This involved heating the ore until it melted and then pouring it into a small furnace. The melted ore was then poured into a large furnace called a bloomery. The bloomery was made of several layers of stone and was very hot.